This is a huge priestly mansion on the slopes of the hill overlooking the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. It was excavated after the 1973 war, and on top of it was built a huge yeshiva institute, a Jewish school. Now, if you want to find ruins in the Jewish quarter of Jerusalem, you got to look in the basements because they're there. Sometimes they've excavated it, other times they buried it, but all the time it's in the basement of people's houses and shops, and in this case, in the basement of a school. And this one is a huge museum now. This house, well, it's possible. It's possible that it was Caiaphas's house. It's possible that it was Annas' house. It's possible that it wasn't. Nobody knows, and there's no way to find out. But it was so huge and richly decorated, it had to be at the very least a priest's family's home, a high priest family's home, and possibly a high priest's home. But behind me, you can see all the walls were decorated. It was covered with plaster, and while the plaster was wet, a pigment was applied in geometric patterns. In this case, you can see it's red, and there are some greens in there. Beautiful patterns and beautiful colors, because when the pigment was applied, soaking into the plaster, then it would last for thousands of years. And that wall behind me is a couple thousand years old. But you'll also know that it's burnt, because in 66 AD, a revolt started up in Galilee, and the Romans had had enough of the Jews. And so they came in with their legions, finally surrounding Jerusalem in 70 AD, destroying and burning the temple and burning the rest of Jerusalem. You can see how the plaster is scorched. This is evidence here of the burning of Jerusalem in 70 AD by the Romans and the fall of the temple. Well, it's right here underground in the Herodian quarter here in Jerusalem. The evidence of this terrible, terrible time that killed over 1 million people, crucified over 55,000 men in and out of the streets of Jerusalem. It was one of the worst catastrophes in the history of the world. And it happened right here. And you can see the scorched wall as a witness of it here in the Herodian quarter.